Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Vox Markets for Tuesday, the 22nd of June. Starting off with Caerus, where we've got this rising trend channel, which has been in place since the stock came to market, or pretty soon after. Follow the channel around 22 pence, 50-day line around 20 and 3/4. Above the 50-day line, we're looking for 37, 38 pence at the top of the channel, and that could be seen as soon as the end of next month. I suppose the big breakout here would be an end of day or a weekly close above 30 pence if you're cautious, and hopefully that would then give a decent upside, more than 37 or 38 pence in the near term. On to Catenae, which gets the award as being one of the most difficult stocks to chart, and probably on any other basis as well. Here we look to be in a falling wedge formation, slightly higher lows for the latter part of June versus the initial 1.2 pence support at the beginning. I suppose the main point here, though, is the bullish divergence here with the lower lows that we've had in the second half of June and higher RSI trace. That does suggest that there's some positive momentum building up. Given the history of the shares and given how difficult they are, probably the easiest way forward here would be to wait for an end of day close above the 20-day moving average around 1.5 pence before assuming that that might be any follow through towards 2 pence, which is the area of the 50-day moving average. Moving along to a stock which doesn't have such issues and has come up with a decent update yesterday. Helium One. Here we've got basically a 2-day bear trap rebound off the 50-day moving average at 18.6 pence. The overall trajectory here for the shares is that we appear to be in a rising trend channel from the beginning of the year. Top of the channel heading towards 30 pence. Trigger for a move towards 30 pence, apart from a rebound, bear trap rebound off the 50-day line, would be an end of day close through today's initial resistance at 22 pence, let's call it. Above 22, looking for 30 pence by the end of next month on Helium One. Moving along to a stock which I haven't looked at too many times, Hive, but charting interest at the moment with the gap through resistance. Gap through resistance, one of the more reliable signals for a multi-bagging situation, which this may or may not be, but at least we can say that the stock is in a rising trend channel from back in December. Floor of the channel around the £1.20 level. The longer we stay above the floor of the gap, which is yesterday's high, £1.35, the greater the chance of a move towards £1.80, maybe as soon as the end of next month for Hive, if there is no fill of that gap over the next day or two. Probably key is to see where the shares are tomorrow. If they can hold above 135, that normally second day above the gap does suggest that there will be acceptance of the move higher. Moving on to an old favorite, Petro Matad, and here we've got slightly more positive picture after a retracement from 9 pence last month. We had a solid break of the the initial resistance of the year at 4.6 pence, and really the shares haven't really looked back from that April event. Now we've got a rising trend channel from the beginning of April, top of the channel heading towards as high as, that'll be 11.5 pence. The upside value while we hold above the 50-day line at 6.3 pence. Above the 50-day line, looking for up to 11 pence as soon as the end of next month. 6 pence also the April resistance there, so old resistance becoming new support on Petro Matad. Looking okay. Just wanted to show how a gap through resistance works with one of today's top rises. We've got MS International. Not a great situation in terms of the liquidity here, so that's why we've got these sort of gaps all over the place, but we have broken the former March peak at £1.80, and the longer we stay above that, the greater the chance of a move towards the top of the channel there, or the broadening triangle, I suppose, from October up to £2.40. That could be hit as soon as the end of next month. Moving on to one of the best technical setups that there's been in recent months. One Heritage Group with this gap island reversal that we had. We had a gap down in February and gap higher in March. That was a brilliant signal for the stock. Also through a gap through the 50-day line. I think we were looking for 70 or 80 at that time as the target, which obviously has been easily achieved. Current situation is that we're looking for the top of a rising trend channel in place since the beginning of the year. That's heading towards as high as £1.50, and that could be seen as soon as the end of next month. Probably the best stop loss at the moment, the late May resistance around 83 pence, if you can afford that. Ideally, we don't go back below recent lows at 94. On to just the last few today. First one which has been very obedient in terms of the technical trajectory, in the least in the recent past, with the gap fill. Fill that gap there down to 40 and bounced well. So Palatro, stock to watch in terms of recovery. Here we're looking for the top of a rising trend channel from back in November, and the upside up towards 70 pence valid while we hold above 40 pence. Rather simple message for that stock at the moment, although it's been a bit of a rocky ride. Scancell, a stock which is rather favoured on the Sunday roast by one of the protagonists there. Here we've got a situation where we've got this decent support points for the stock, multiple support points for the stock above the 200-day moving average, currently at 17 pence. We've got a rising trend channel which has been in place since September, top of the channel heading towards 35 pence, and that's the target over the next couple of months while we hold above the 200-day line, 17.7 pence. I did say that one of the tricks of the trade, if you're looking at stocks which are new to the market, is a breakout of the opening range. Here we had, I suppose, the opening range basically at around £1.58, the last peak there, and basically above that we're looking for a decent move to the upside. Obviously, with hardly any charting data, difficult to say exactly what it might be, but I'm guessing around that we're in a channel which could take the shares around to the £2.50 area while we hold above £1.58. So that's a reasonable risk reward if you believe in that kind of slightly fraught charting that we've got the Thungela at the moment. Another company which has been rather more fraught in recent times, a periodic placing company, is UK Oil and Gas. Here we've had the aftermath of another bounce off the 200-day moving average at 0.17 pence. Looks relatively healthy, especially if there are no nasties coming through on the fundamental side. Probably want to see an end-of-day close above the 50-day moving average at 0.22. If we can get that, then maybe the shares head up towards that April resistance line at 0.3. But it's slightly messy picture there at UK Oil and Gas at the moment. Stock which is making its debut today on the Bulletin Board Heroes is the next one, Vietnam Holdings, which see is a most followed stock on several occasions on Vox Markets. Here we've got a rising trend channel in place since October, top of the channel heading towards £3. Maybe that's an end of July or maybe August target for the stock, especially while we hold above the initial June resistance there at £2.52. So above that, looking for £3 for Vietnam Holding at the moment. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.